Hola, Benny Ferguson here. In today's video, I'm going to take you through a step-by-step process of how you can learn to integrate the 7 foundational stretches featured in the Embodied Flexibility program into a flow sequence. I'll take you through from beginner to advanced progressions and we'll deepen the concepts. And also I'm looking forward to sharing with you the latest updates that I've found in my research into these positions. The first step to understand throughout all of this sequence is these 3 principles of each stretch, except for the spine segmentation stretch that we do at the end. But in each stretch you'll go through 3 phases. You'll go through the pulsing phase, the rotation phase of the joint, and the deepening phase. So just keep that in mind and have that as a mental reminder each and every time you're going through each of these movements. So as I take you through this stretch flow, I'm going to go through an abbreviated version of each of the stretches. The most important thing is that you progressively build up and work to your individual level. And the best way to realize that is through continuous exploration of your individual body. So let's get into this stretch flow. The first stretch is called the ostrich. Make sure you check out the more detailed video on it if you'd like to go deeper. So if you're beginning, it's completely fine to start with your leg bent. Most of the weight goes on the front foot, and what we're focusing on is reaching your head forward and pushing your hips back. First, we do the pulses. Or you can pulse this way. If you're more advanced and you can already start with the torso parallel to the ground, then start to pulse this way. But explore each of them. So start with the bent leg pulse, then bent to straighten. Feel the muscle tissue relax and feel the fascia connect beneath. And then the straight pulse. The key here is we're not completely relaxed, but we're not contracted. So then we go into the rotation phase. So rotate deeply at the hip, no matter where you are. If your leg's bent, that's fine. Just rotate deeply at the hip, like you're a dog wagging your tail. And then deepen. So you can grab a hold of the foot if you need, and what you're focusing on is reaching the head forward and pushing the hip back. Imagine you're moving your chin towards your toe. And as you deepen, just gradually relax all of the tissue along here and start to feel the fascia beneath it. And what we do to one side, we'll naturally do to the other. Starting with the pulses. Notice there's a range of ways that we can explore it. Then the rotations. Use as much support with the hands as you need. And then the deepen. And then we move into the horse stance. So explore the appropriate width for you. But we're going to release down in this sequence. It's very common with the horse stance to push the hips back straight away, but that's not going to get into the ankles the way we want to. So from here, what you want to do is relax the ankles, relax the back of the knees, then relax the hips. So as you pulse down in that hierarchy of command. So from the ankles to the knees to the hips. Ankles, knees, hips. And this is not about the depth. This is not about you getting down deep like this. This is about you feeling all of the tissue in the hip. So we start with the pulses. Just feel it. Feel the femurs inside the hip capsule expand out. If you feel tension on the knees, then narrow your stance. Then from here we go into the rotations. Imagine your coccyx that shoots down there. You're just rotating around that point. Feel the femur in the hip capsule open up and spread out. Gradually relax. Relax the muscles and feel yourself connect with the fascia beneath that. Remember, we're not fully relaxed, but we're not contracted. And then deepen. Allow the hips to expand out. Release from the ankles, knees, hips. Then we work into the bow stance. So we rotate from the hip and we move out into that bow stance position. And then we're just gently pulsing. Just gradually relaxing. Feel this whole chain open out. Feel the femur move out of the hip. If you'd like to make it more advanced, we then start to bend the leg, straighten the leg. Bend the leg, straighten the leg. So then the joint rotations in the beginner position, just rotating at the hip. Imagine your head's being lifted up, and in the more advanced position, we're rotating, so we're straightening the leg and rotating around it, and you can start to then sink down at the arms and extend the arms, and you'll feel this whole line start to extend. Rotating deep in the hip. If you want to take it even further, you can turn the foot out and we sink down into this hip. And we're really starting to open that up. And then deepen. Then straight into the tiger stance. Now, if you're beginning, just start off with a bent leg. And then sinking down this way. You might need to adjust the stance appropriate to you, and the foot of this one can turn out if you need. Just adjust and explore all of these options. So then if you're a bit more advanced, come up and relax. If you need to rest your muscles, that's fine. Just take a deep breath, relax, and go back into it. Explore the pulses, either bent leg to straight leg or straight leg. I'm focusing on pushing this knee out here and pushing this femur out here, so we're getting this widening effect. Relax as much as you need. And then the rotations. If you need, you can just rest your fingertips on the ground. But we're turning the hip in the capsule. Even fine if you've got your leg bent. Look to move from the hips, not the ankles and the knees. Then come around the other side into the bow stance again. Gently pulse, relaxing more deeply, opening up through the front of the hip, feeling the two femurs open up and separate. If you want to get a bit more advanced, bend the leg to straighten the leg. More advanced again, turn the foot out and rotate. And deepen at whatever variation you're at. You're imagining that this is all opening out. This is preparing you for the front split. Then into the tiger. Remember, once again, if you need to put the hands down, by all means. But just relax down. Feel this chain of fascia starting to connect. Let go of the muscle tissue. We should be soft on the outside, but then feel like this strong wire beneath. Pulse, rotate. Notice there's so many options that you can explore. And deepen. Deepen. So once you've finished up deepening on the tiger stretch, just explore the joints. We'll then go to standing straddle stretch. So before you do that, we can just start to slide across and just explore the joints a little further. And you can place your hands on your feet if you need. Just feel yourself relax down. Feel the femurs start to spread. Feel the hip opening up. Just explore this as long as you need. And then from this bottom position, we're basically in the position that we need to be in for the standing straddle stretch. So you can pulse with the knees bent. That's completely fine. So just start by pulsing. Your head moves this way, your hips move back this way. Then as you start to look to deepen, you can start to then extend the legs a bit more straight and then pulse until eventually you get fully straight and then gently pulse down this way. And we can widen just to that 70% point and then just start to explore. And just use as little support as you need by the hands. You're just pulsing, opening up the hips outwards and bringing the chest and the belly button down towards the ground. Remember, we're relaxing, but we're not flaccid. We're definitely not contracted. We're using the fascia. And then from there, I'll go back to the more beginner progression. We then do the rotations. So once again, rotate like you're a dog wagging a tail, rotate deeply in the hip. We're not doing this. We're rotating deeply into the hip, just learning and exploring new little networks in this area. We can do it straight, rotating the femurs into the sockets of the hips. We can do it deeper. Try not to really brace and put too much weight on your hands. Just put your weight on your fingertips. Rotating, then we deepen. Just let everything open up, or we deepen. Should feel it deep inside the hips and the adductors. There's lots of places to explore with this. Use the leg positions to gradually change the amount of resistance. We then come up into the straight press. So we start to link the hands and explore. Just sit down gently. And we would like the hips to sink down and the head to lift up. And we just pulse. Feel your hips sinking down as your hands are pressing up. Relax the muscles, let your ribs soften. Inhale, exhale. Then from here, start to rotate the joints in the shoulder. Open, spiral them in and out as you expand upwards. And then deepen. Now the more advanced variation of this stretch is the side press, the side bend press. So we sink just into a high horse stance and then bring the hands up over the head. Inhale, and what we want to look to do is relax each individual vertebrae, opening them out to the side. When you get to 70% of your peak, we then perform the press. Feel your weight center on your feet. Don't collapse down at your spine. Keep it lifted and open as you bend out. Your hips sink down and your head moves across this way. Then rotate the joint at the end. And then deepen. Breathe deep into your back. Then roll up, one vertebra at a time. And repeat on the other side. Sink the hips down and open up each of the vertebrae from the side, one at a time. Go into the press. Rotate the joint, open and close. Just explore all of these rotations and then deepen. Breathe into the tissue where you feel the tension. Expand and release. And then roll up one vertebra at a time. Then finally we're going to move into the standing spine segmentation. Sink down. You can get more detail on the individual video. This is the only one that has different rules to the others. This we just look to segment down. Inhale and expand, exhale, release. Feel the weight sink into your feet, then perform the beak twist. Inhale, expand, exhale, release. Inhale, expand, exhale, release. Sink the hips down, roll the vertebra up, one at a time. Expand, release and stack. Expand, release and stack. Feel the whole chain of fascia on the spine connect as one piece as you relax all the muscles. And perform that 1 to 3 times. So there you have it. There's the 7 stretch flow. So I'll go through and I'll give you a real-time recap of a few reps of each of these. I'll play it in a bit of a faster speed so you can see how they all link together. So now it's so important. Get practicing, explore your body, and your body will naturally open up through so many different planes and ranges of motion.